We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. So to be fair to YouTube, they had me remove my last video. They removed the visibility, so I deleted the video. I knew something told me not to post it because of all the censored nudity. I did it anyway. I knew it wasn't a good idea, but it is what it is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it had to do with a woman taking off all her clothes inside an airport and causing a great scene. I also used other examples as well, but again, I guess it wasn't too YouTube friendly. But with the type of channel that I run, there's always something to talk about every day. And one of my favorite topics to talk about on this channel has to do with pastors acting odd behind the pulpit, not acting in a way that you would expect of a pastor. With that being said, we actually have a crazy pastor video that came out, and this pastor, Pastor Marvin Sapp, takes it up a notch, even beyond Kenneth Copeland, which is crazy. This pastor says, lock those doors, nobody's going anywhere unless I get my money.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you, I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I actually think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife Melinda P. Sapp was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get one soda, 2 straws. I wasn't cheap, that's swag. I was looking in her eyes, she's looking in mine. Can't do that no more. Now everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers. That 20 wasn't for you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm gonna have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on take your phone and stick it on the bucket. Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. This ain't the time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy, saints. This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving. That's it.
That is crazy. That is absolutely wild. And these people, they probably don't have 2 nickels to rub together coming to this church for help, and they're being told they can't leave. Ushers, close the door. These people can't leave until we add up $40,000. And I don't want it by debit card. I don't want you to do it electronically. I want to see the money in the basket. That is wild. There is really a horror element to this, and I'm not talking about this one clip, but I'm talking about just these pastors in general. People will sit down and see this, they will hear this, they will be inside of this church experiencing this, and they will continue to go back to give their money to these pastors. In other news, a couple of days ago, I had spoken about a company, 23andMe, where they send you out a vial, you spit in this vial, you send it off to them, and they will analyze your DNA. They'll tell you who you're related to, your ancestry, your background, and so forth. As I said in that previous video, 23andMe, they are now in bankruptcy, And this company, it can be sold to whoever, and whoever buys this company can do whatever they want with this DNA. But what a lot of people don't understand, those who've given their DNA over to 23andMe, that DNA belongs to 23andMe, and they can do whatever they want with it. There were a lot of people that were trying to figure out what could be done with this DNA. Could they clone people? Could they take this DNA to certain crime scenes and frame people? And while that sounds like beans and franks, I referenced the case of the Idaho 4, Brian Kohberger, where police, they scanned his ancestry through giving his DNA to websites. They were able to match his DNA to the DNA that was found on the knife sheath at the crime scene. And like I said, there are a lot of people that do believe that Kohberger did not commit this crime, that he's being framed, and that he's being set up through this DNA. But anyway, that's neither here or there. I found something far scarier than all of this that really knocked my horror-themed socks off. Reading this article from TechRad that goes back to February 13th, 2025, this article is titled, Oracle head Larry Ellison wants to put all America's data into one big system to study, including your DNA. Now, I'm not going to lie, and I got spooky chills after reading this article because this is the same Larry Ellison who is behind the most powerful, most expensive AI program ever, Project Stargate. And this is the same Larry Ellison who said they are going to use AI to monitor everybody, to make sure that the public is on its best behavior. Now, there are people out there that wanted to see if they were related to King Fortinberg III. I said I'm going to be serious. There are people out there that wanted to see if they were related to King Fortinberg III. And now they are a part of this big AI system. And I am sure at one point we are all going to be in this big AI system, whether we like it or not. But they are definitely doing beta tests. They are definitely doing test runs to see what they can learn, what they can gather from your DNA using AI. And make no mistake about it, I am sure some of that DNA they gathered are from sites like 23andMe. I mean, why not? There's no restrictions. There is absolutely no restrictions as to who they can give your DNA away to or who they can sell it to. This article from TechRadar Pro that even says Larry Ellison has big plans, but listen to this. This article goes on to say that by making economic, healthcare, and infrastructure information available centrally, Ellison envisions enhanced healthcare with personalized treatments, improved agricultural productivity, with better land and crop analysis, and other AI-driven social services with fraud prevention. Oracle CTO Larry Ellison has said governments should centralize all their data, including citizens' health data, to enhance services and security. Insurance companies, they are easily going to deny you or not pay you because they're going to run your DNA through an analysis through AI, and they're going to see that you lied about your history, and you might not have even known it. That your grandfather or great-grandfather may have passed away from a heart attack, and you kept that information from the insurance companies, and now you have heart problems, and they're going to say, well, that ran in your family, and that's a pre-existing condition. We don't have to pay. Or when Larry Ellison says, we're going to make sure you're on your best behavior and monitor you, they're going to check your DNA. They're going to check your history, your family history, to see if any crimes have been committed by family members. If your family has a history of committing crimes. And then they're going to target you and watch you to see if you have these same patterns, all through your DNA. That is pretty terrifying given the fact that this article came out only a month prior to 23andMe saying, well, we're going to go ahead and sell all this DNA to the highest bidder because we are going to go ahead and sell the company. This next part I had in my last video that was deleted. It had to do with the Ark of the Covenant being found, so I decided to keep it with this video. So I'm going to go ahead and play that segment now. In this next segment, am I the only one that feels like they are preparing us for something big? That something big is around the corner? I don't want to say Project Bluebeam, the false stage alien invasion, because Project Bluebeam is a much older project, which I'm sure something more advanced has taken its place. But if it's not Project Bluebeam, or, the more advanced project that has taken its place, then why does it feel like it? So I believe it was last week that we have received news that there was an amazing discovery under the pyramids of Giza. This discovery could change our understanding about the ancient people, the ancient Egyptians, and the pyramids as a whole. Then around the same time, there were all these blue spirals in the sky, which they try to cover up, and say it was SpaceX. But if you've seen my previous video, these blue spirals were also seen in Norway over 15 years ago. They were also seen in Hawaii, where they also tried to say it was SpaceX dumping fuel, and then they said, oh no, it was a satellite. So a lot of different excuses for what we're seeing in the skies, but what people were seeing, especially over in the United Kingdom a couple days ago, look like portals. But going back to the Egyptian pyramids, this was seen also a couple days ago above the pyramids of Giza.
Right, we got a strange piece of footage coming from Egypt, and there's a strange object floating over the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, right? So this orb type thing kind of travels across and then splits off into these multiple different things. And we're just going to watch the piece of footage here and kind of analyse what's going on. It looks diamondish. You've got like an orb here, another one above that. Is it on fire? Is this something burning up and then kind of splitting off?
Oh my God, what on earth is going on?
But then there's also something following it from above as well. It's kind of tracking it, and then it splits off, right? And then notice the movement patterns as well, okay? It's breaking off, it's moving, and then things on the backside kind of go backwards and then float off behind it.
I feel like they're actual.
I don't know, man. Or is this something more? What is that about? You guys let me know, man.
Oh my God.
That video was from the interstellar discussion on TikTok, and again, people in Egypt noticed these objects above the pyramids only a couple days after this announcement was made about what was found underneath the pyramids. After all this news, after all these sightings, we are now getting news coming out that the CIA confirmed the Ark of the Covenant's existence using remote viewing. They declassified documents. We have to be careful here for a couple of reasons. For one, this is the CIA we're talking about. They have been known to use people's religions and beliefs against them, like back in the Philippines when they pretend to be a bunch of vampires to win over a certain conflict. They would also fly helicopters over a specific area blasting audio, and this audio was supposed to be the voices of the deceased telling this group to stop the conflict or they're going to end up like them. So they are notorious for psychological campaigns, and also the way they said they discovered the Ark of the Covenant was through remote viewing. But anyway, reading this article from the New York Post, which was published on the 26th, it says, the CIA claimed to have confirmed the existence of the Ark of the Covenant by way of remote viewing, aka extrasensory perception, or ESP, alleging the mysterious and sacred object is guarded by entities with an unknown power, a recently resurfaced declassified document claims. In a remote viewing session on December 5th, 1988, remote viewer number 32, I'm surprised it wasn't 33, but remote viewer number 32 was tasked with identifying a target that, unbeknownst to them, ended up being the storied Ark of the Covenant, according to document which was declassified on August 8th, 2000, and has been circulating on social media. So it was declassified on August 8th, 2000. Why are all these news agencies running with this story now, right after, again, this discovery in Egypt and all these sightings? It kind of comes off like demon face syndrome, when they said how this individual, he was known to have demon face syndrome all the way back in, I believe it was 2020. And then out of nowhere, all these news agencies at one time in 2024 ran these articles about how demon face syndrome exists just out of nowhere. The timing feels very strange, but anyway, the article goes on to say how when a remote viewer is tasked with searching for a target, the desired object is written down on a piece of paper and put into an envelope. The remote viewer does not know what is written and is guided through the process by another person. This was explained by United States Army Chief Warrant Joe McMongeagle. He was quoted as saying, "Information collected under this protocol is the only information that can be identified as remote viewing." Now, remote viewer 32's vision described a secret Middle Eastern location of the object, which they don't know is the Ark, but they say is protected by entities, the document reveals. Target is a container. This container has another container inside of it. The target is fashioned of wood, gold, and silver, similar in shape to a coffin, and is decorated with seraphim. They relayed per the file. Why do I feel like I heard this before? Like this is an older story, and all these different news agencies are running the story as if it was new. Again, I just feel like they are mentally preparing us for something. But continuing to read this article, it says visuals of surrounding buildings indicated the presence of mosque domes. They said, adding that Arabic-speaking men dressed in all white populated the area. The target is hidden, underground, dark, and wet were all aspects of the location of the target, they continued. The purpose of the target is to bring a people together. It has something to do with ceremony, memory, homage, the resurrection. There is an aspect of spirituality, information, lessons, and the historical knowledge far beyond what we know. The target is protected by entities and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so. This container cannot be opened until the time is deemed correct. Once it is time to open the container, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple, they said before adding a warning to potential plunderers. This absolutely screams Project Bluebeam. Go back to read Serge Monas's theories about Project Bluebeam, how there will be all these amazing discoveries, these sightings in the skies, and so forth. And again, before anybody says that this is the real deal, this is the CIA we're talking about, known for psychological warfare. The declassified documents also included several pages of drawings that depict one of the four seraphims that stand out on the corners of the ark, as well as a drawing of mummies lined up on a wall. With the findings beneath the pyramids of Giza and now this, the description of mummies and so forth, the Ark of the Covenant, the timing is just way too coincidental. Again, I just feel like they are preparing us, mentally preparing us, conditioning us for something big that's about to happen. On top of everything else, they're really advancing and pushing, once again, AI, Stargate, and so forth. So it's going to be crazy how many people they're going to be able to fool. And I'm not saying that the Ark of the Covenant does not exist. What I'm saying is that we are getting this information from the CIA and big media. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.